Rita, explain your nonprofit as if I am someone just hearing about it for the very first time.
Definitely. So the nonprofit is called Technology Youth Empowerment, also known as TIE, TIE, and we're 501(c)(3). We're entirely student-led, and we focus on providing STEM education to our youth in an accessible way. So we focus on low-income areas and Title I schools, and we try to deliver our content in a very comprehensive way as STEM can be taught in mostly a technical manner. And so we have a specific curriculum called Curiosity First, where we challenge the students first with different prompts before diving into the lecture, and we allow them to experiment with the different materials and tools before giving them strict guidance. And that is all in hopes of sparking their curiosity before we dive into the technical side of the lesson. And the main focus of TIE is to just help students find their space in STEM, as most of the times at a young age it can be so intimidating because it's taught in a technical manner.
The youth that you work with, what is the age range there?
Yeah, we focus on K through eighth grade. So specifically for our AI curriculum, we will be targeting the older kids, like from the age range of fifth to eighth graders, just because it's very
And it's
technical.
really impressive that it's totally student led.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It can be challenging at times, but we make it work.
You all hail from which school or
Yes.
schools?
Yeah, we come from a variety of different schools across Fairfax County. Some of us went to Woodson High School, some of us went to Chantilly High School, Robinson, and some of us are still currently there, and others have graduated. So it's a continuous process of onboarding new students and some students graduating and leaving the organization.
This next question kind of talks to it a little bit. What are the challenges and opportunities that you see for Thai in the coming year or years ahead?
Yeah, sure. I already touched on it a little, but we are student led, and so it is hard to find new students as students graduate. Specifically, like our executive board, we're all out of high school now, and so connecting with the younger generation and just finding those contexts can be challenging since we're removed from that high school setting now. But we are very fortunate to partner with National Honor Societies at these various schools and just different youth-led networks that have students that are willing to step into these positions and take on these different responsibilities. So while it is a challenge, there's many ways to work around it with partnering with these different organizations and just school administrators in general. And we've been fortunate enough to have that help. And in terms of opportunities, there's a significant increase in the use of artificial intelligence, especially at the student level. And so we are partnering with an organization called Business Artificial Intelligence Institute, BAI, and we're working with them to create a curriculum around the focus of AI and teach students how these systems are built, how data centers work, what the environmental impact is, the ethics, and then, of course, the technicality behind it, so the programming side of things. And I'm very, very excited about this opportunity because it's not necessarily taught in schools because AI is such a new field and hot topic. And even as a college student, like I'm just learning how these systems work. And so I'm excited to break down that curriculum for our younger generation and just prepare them for a world where the future is very focused on AI.
Do you have like a personal story from your work at Thai, like one individual or maybe a class that you taught that really shifted perspective for you or someone else? Like, do you have something like that that you could share?
Great question. So because we focus on low income communities, there are often very diverse students in our classes. And one time we had a workshop at a library, and we had a student who didn't who wasn't fluent in English, and it was their second language, and they had just moved to the country. And immediately I could just tell that they were uncomfortable in a setting where everyone is speaking English and everyone could understand each other very clearly. And I sympathized with the student because I grew up in a similar environment where English wasn't my first language. And after the lesson was over, I asked the parents if the student could stay a few minutes after to just explain the lesson and use different tools available online like Google Translate and just try to explain to them what we were doing. And I could just immediately tell that the student felt more included and more welcomed after doing that, especially because the other students were removed from the classroom at that point, and so they just didn't feel that embarrassment that they had to receive that one-on-one support, and they just felt a lot more welcomed. And I could tell, like, by the end through their body language, like, they felt more at ease and they were able to understand the curriculum and what we were teaching. And I helped them, like, build the hands-on activity afterwards, which is a catapult. And just through his expression and, like, his eyes, he was so happy that, like, his worked. And it was just very rewarding to know that, like, I was able to help a student and help him feel seen in a space where he wasn't initially so comfortable in.
How will the Business Women's Giving Circle grant impact Thai?
Yeah, great question. So I mentioned earlier that we focus on low-income students and students that come from Title I backgrounds, and those youth are already underrepresented in the STEM field. But more specifically, females are very underrepresented in the STEM world. I am constantly walking into my STEM classes and just STEM clubs, and sometimes I'm the only person of color, and in addition to that, the only female in the room. That can be very intimidating and a little disheartening. And so this grant will allow us to focus on female youth at a very young age and provide them the space and the opportunity to see themselves in the STEM world and just feel like they belong in that field. And I think that will be very empowering because they're so young, and from the very start, they will see themselves as experts in a male-dominated field. And in addition to that, we'll just be able to expand our impact to more schools in the Northern Virginia area.
Um, Incredible. You are a change maker, and I am just getting more inspired by you the more you talk. Help other people feel just as inspired by you. Where can more people learn about Thai?
Yeah, great question. We have a website, ThaiConnects.org, so TYE Connects, and we have a section for getting involved, so students are able to um, go in that section and learn how they can become a volunteer or learn how to become a STEM instructor. We do have specific training for our STEM instructors. And then if different community organizations are interested in partnering with TIE, there's also a section for that on the website under Get Involved. And then if you're a parent or just an educator interested in getting your child in our programs, we do have our contact information listed on the website. So reaching out through our website is a great way. And then we're also on Instagram and LinkedIn, where you can learn more about the specific workshops we've held and what partner sites we've collaborated with, as we mostly repartner with our partner sites. So we have multiple workshops at specific locations. And so that's also a great way to just get involved and learn more about the work we do.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me.
Of course, yeah. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to explain more about Thai. I appreciate it.